Being 6:30, I'm gonna open up the August 12th, Charlton Planning Board meeting. First on the agenda is our A&Rs. We have one for Smith Road, Gillies.
Yeah, we reviewed this, everything, conforms to zoning, building commissioner signed off on it, no issues on our end.
And this is your plan?
Yes, correct.
And you just
It's just two,
creating another,
I'm combining the two lots. I'm just gonna build a single family home and a large, like a barn garage.
Which two lots are getting combined?
Yes.
Three.
you wanna just,
Yeah.
you can just,
Lot.
So it's lot 3 and 4.
Oh, so this is the lot behind it.
That, yes, correct.
Gotcha.
Yep. And then, yeah, the house is gonna go right over there.
So 3 and 4 to create.
To
3A.
create, yes,
23 acres. That's
Correct.
a big lot.
yeah.
And it's still a reduced frontage? What do you have?
It's already has a variance, it's reduced frontage, yes. Because originally those two lots were two separate buildables. And I'm just combining them.
That's 123 feet total.
Yeah.
So it is a reduced frontage lot.
Yes.
These two lots here are reduced frontage.
Yes, correct.
I'm just making one. Does that change anything?
If anything, it makes it more conforming.
It is more conforming.
Right.
It's one fewer reduced frontage lot.
Make a motion to accept the A&R for Gillies property.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I just need all the
Yeah,
signatures.
let us sign it, sign it, sign it.
Jane, we have 4 copies, so you can have one back, correct? So we have one for us and one for the clerk.
We all walk around.
There's 4 copies, we should show it, but I can have.
Easier.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We just have to sign one paper.
Away so you can all get on in there.
In our exercise. Who needs it? Playground.
So 3 copies or just 2? How many do you need signed?
Just one paper and then the Mylar. So I stamped it.
Yep. Is there anybody for the Partridge Hill A&R? So we'll just table that and come back to that.
Yep.
Okay.
Take them with you.
Yes.
The Mylar and take the Mylar in one paper.
Yep.
No, just the Mylar.
Just the
Tomorrow,
Mylar.
yeah. Paper's ours.
Thanks for the copies.
Thanks for listening.
Good luck. It's going to be a beautiful house.
Yep.
All right, thank you, everybody.
See you today.
Do not know.
Because it'll come.
So,
Oh.
the
Make
next
sure
on
they
the
dated the
agenda is
Mylar.
the,
Mylar dated. Then we'll take
oh yeah,
Mylar.
we dated both of them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Bill
What time
did.
did
The royal
dated.
we.
You're supposed to say, you're never supposed to say I, or you. We have, the, Charlton Housing Production Plan draft that we're supposed, and So we are supposed to accept it, review it and accept it and join with the select board. I guess that's the process, right? And
Yep.
to make it an official document. So I'll just start with that. I did review this thing in kind of like 9 pages of notes. And of course, I'm reviewing it from the view of master plan. And so that's why I think I have so many issues, because what the plan actually says doesn't make a lot of sense with what the master plan does. So,
Well,
like,
since the master plan is getting redone now, this, it does seem like it's being put in the right place,
yeah.
so.
So we have, and
This-
so we have to do, so, the true reason for this is we can't apply for a lot of grants if we don't at least have one done. So we don't qualify for a lot because we don't have enough low-income properties and some of the other, stats that the state's looking for to give us money. But having one does allow us to apply for grants, so obviously we want to have a solid plan. And it is kind of a cookie cutter template, sort of fill in the blanks. I have a lot of comments about like the people that took the survey. It was such a small, tiny bit of population focused on.
It's a very bad survey.
So it was, but nobody's know all of my opinions yet. I will share them by email to everybody.
And this
Um,
is the
but
final copy?
This is the draft, so
It's the
so
draft, so
it's draft that's
okay.
submitted. So I don't honestly even know who was on the committee. I don't think anybody on the planning board was on the committee, right? I mean, we would have known. So I don't. But so what is? I mean,
I have a
it's
couple.
Is there anybody in the public here to?
We're here to talk about
Okay,
it. Is it
okay.
okay if we come up and talk a little bit?
That's why.
Very
So
well, yeah.
that's why. So we're gonna open it up. We're not gonna vote or anything. We just wanted to kind of introduce it and talk about what's in it and what we would want to support and stuff like that. So, but yeah, absolutely. Why don't you guys? We'll open it up to the public.
We're actually from Central Mass Regional Planning Commission.
So you were on the committee that put this together, or you were?
We're the consultant.
Consultants, right?
Correct,
Just-
yeah.
oh, perfect.
Is it
That's
okay if
what
we
I
come up here? Or
Oh
is
yes,
it better
please.
if we stay
Oh
here?
no, please. Let
I'm sorry to leave it, so I'm going to ask some question here. One of the main reasons to have this, I mean, would be to produce affordable housing, obviously, but is to prevent affordable housing units, 40 units being imposed upon us that we don't have a lot of say in.
Yeah, that's one of the useful tools of having an active housing production plan. They're 5-year plans that are approved by the state. And if you have one that has been approved by the state in the last 5 years, and the town is able to produce 0.5% of its year-round housing stock as affordable units. So for Charlton, based on the most recent census, that would be 26 affordable units. If you were to produce that in a year, you could be able to not issue comprehensive permits to developers that are seeking those to develop more densely in single-family zoned areas. So that is one of the benefits. Another is just to have an active plan in place. I mean, we did reach out to the community. We held a few workshops. We put out the survey as well. There was a lot of representation on the committee, which we had monthly committee meetings since October 2025. From the senior center, I mean, I think we did try to reach out to members of other boards, but for some
I know they
reason.
didn't even see it invite. I mean, that's not your problem. I mean, sometimes we have a little communication issue in our town hall. So
The former planner was also involved at the on-site meeting as well.
I have another question. I saw a survey at the senior center that seemed to be produced by a committee of residents. It didn't have the stamp of any of your involvement. I think this was at least a year ago. So when would the survey? I don't think I saw your survey. Where was it? Where was it?
It was on the town website for a while.
Yeah.
It was posted on, I think, any social media pages. There were flyers that were hung up at in town hall and I think the post office and a few other locations. It was in the senior center as well. So this was during, I think, late fall of 2025 is when it was open.
Okay, so do you think it was a
Yeah, October
different
to
survey?
that might have been a different survey because this was October 2025 to December 2025.
That might have been for the potential senior, it could have potentially be for the senior, community center. I mean, the senior center. Maybe it had
I think
something to
it
do
might have been
with that.
something that they did before they engaged CMPRC.
Oh, maybe. Although, you guys are probably involved in for,
There was also the Route
Year and a half
20
or
corridor
something.
study.
We kicked it off in October, so it's been a little less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Do you want me to talk any more
Yeah,
about
no,
it, like kind of
I
go
mean,
through
do
it,
you-
or just answer questions?
I don't know, how do we want to do the format? Do you want to do a brief presentation?
Yeah, I can just kind of go through it. Yeah, so like I said, this kicked off in October 2025. We had a steering committee. I'll introduce myself also. I'm Emily Glavitz from the Central Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission. I'm the manager of housing programs and joined with Emily Tivo, so Emily G and Emily T. We met with the committee, kind of guided the process, provided any kind of technical expertise through this. And then we were joined by Andrew Golis, of course, and the former planner as well. So that was kind of the representation from the town, and we had, I think there was 5 members on the steering committee, all of which are kind of members of the senior center. And yeah, just want to also thank them for their participation, and thank everyone who took the survey and joined the workshops.
I would, like, honestly, I would have taken it if I'm on the planning board, so it's funny that I didn't even know about the survey. I didn't even see it on like social media or anything. It's not new. I mean, sometimes.
I agree, I didn't see it either. I just don't, the process was even going on until I saw the draft copy.
It's probably less than half survey and then a lot of data crunching. There's just a lot of facts.
There's a lot of data in the plan, yeah.
Yep.
It's about 30 pages of just the most up-to-date census data, American Community Survey, any local data that we could collect. So that's kind of the first, like, 2/3 of the plan is a lot of the data crunching and everything. What is here? What are there any gaps? And then we go into discussing the kind of like barriers to housing production, if there's any kind of environmental things, regulatory barriers, things like that that came up. And then the last part is the recommendations as well. So, I only brought one copy of the survey results. I'm sorry, I should have brought more, but if you want to pass it around.
Well, I think
I'll-
you probably have.
Okay, you have them, just if you're curious to know. Let's see. A lot of the issues that were raised were around senior housing and affordability, particularly for folks who have retired or living on fixed incomes, and not only the affordability aspect, but also the physical constraints of larger single-family homes on kind of larger lots. Kind of folks who have built connections here, raised families, and their children are now adults and have moved out and feeling as if these homes are too big for them to live in. So wanting, of course, to remain in this community, but having limited options for something that's more affordable, easier to take care of. So a lot of the discussions were around kind of options for that moving forward. One of the things that came up was like cottage housing communities, smaller homes. You still get that independent single-family home. You can have guests over and everything, but it's more in a slightly denser community circled around a perhaps like a garden area or shared kind of sidewalks, things like that. We talked about accessory dwelling units as an option, having more flexibility and kind of clear direction around how to create an ADU. We talked about home sharing as a potential option. There are existing home sharing organizations out there that will help kind of vet different households to partner them with perhaps a younger, maybe a college student who's looking for a rental option, or even an exchange of kind of services around the house, helping out older residents with household tasks. So there were a lot of kind of creative discussions around there, and a lot of that is outlined in the recommendation section. We talked about kind of mixed use options, kind of locating future housing with a potential, future, a grocery store would come up a lot, the need for kind of that, or shopping options or healthcare, and making sure that those kind of services and amenities are near housing, especially for older folks who might not necessarily have access to a car. Let's see. And then just to talk a little bit about the existing affordable housing stock in regards to Chapter 40B. Under this law, every community in Massachusetts has to reserve 10% of its housing stock as deed-restricted affordable units for households earning 80% or less of the area median income. Currently, Charlton is at 1.74%, so you're not at that 10% threshold. It has 89 units of deed-restricted affordable housing, where you need 511 total affordable units to comply with this. So while the town is not alone in this, there are plenty of communities out there who have not met this threshold. It does leave the town vulnerable to the comprehensive permits, like I was talking about a little bit earlier. So that's something that's outlined in the plan as well. And then I will say that the recommendation section, we broke it into kind of 4 different subsections. So the first is funding and capacity building, this leveraging financial resources as well as like technical assistance and professional and community support resources. An example of recommendation is to pursue adoption of a municipal affordable housing trust fund. The second kind of group of recommendations is zoning and policy changes. So since regulatory barriers can end up preventing really much needed housing types, there were recommendations for changing zoning or implementing policies to help facilitate the construction of certain types of housing, like I said, that are called for. For an example, pursue zoning changes to allow cluster developments of small homes, such as cottage housing communities or tiny housing communities. Another one in there was to pursue zoning tools, including Chapter 40R, 40S, that incentivize and direct housing growth to well-suited areas. So these are a couple, and it's described in the plan in more detail, but a couple of state zoning kind of programs that the town could look into to incentivize starter homes and affordable housing. The third group is housing planning and development strategies. So these are ways that the town can provide support for projects, recognizing that like the town is not the one creating the housing, it's on the private and public side. But to support that by removing certain challenges and barriers to creating housing through partnerships, advocacy, and just like taking the necessary steps on the town side that it can to prepare for new development. So, for example, one of the recommendations is to create an inventory of sites that demonstrate suitability for affordable housing development. And then in the plan, there is a map kind of towards the end, I think on page 67, that these are the areas that, just as a starting point, were discussed as areas that would be appropriate for future housing, whether there's land that's available, the owners are trying to sell it, or it's near kind of major corridors, or other services and amenities. And then the final section of strategies is the housing preservation strategies. So just making sure that any existing affordable housing is preserved so the town doesn't lose those important units from what is called the subsidized housing inventory, or the SHI, and just exploring ways that the town can support residents and local housing organizations, as well as restoring any vacant or abandoned properties. So, I think that's kind of my quick summary, but I'm happy to answer questions and clarify anything about the process at all. And I know you're not going to vote on it tonight, but that is the ultimate goal is to adopt the plan by this board, and then we'll bring it to the select board for their vote of adoption, and then we can submit it to the state for a 5-year approval.
One of my big issues is throughout, within the sort of the suggestions or the strategies. It says, for example, the Affordable Housing Trust, and it says pursue adoption. And the idea, like, I would be happy to say, like, look into or research the process, because I'm like, wow, we can, financially, almost all of our money goes to the school district, right? So we're living in this tight budget, and some of the suggestions were, you know, take some of your fees and your fine, and or have the town start funding a trust to help build these houses. That's where, I mean, right now we're wondering, you know, can we afford to fix the school that's, you know, that's falling down right now, right? So like pursue adoption, it just seems like we're jumping way ahead. It's more that just the terminology to research or consider, or, you know, to you know, have a committee, and we love committees in this town, you know, a committee, you know, look into the possibility. Just, and a lot of the terminology was like that. Let's pursue it without like more versus, again, research the possibility. Maybe this is just the standard wording, and maybe that pursue means we're gonna see if it's actually a possibility before. But again, throughout that, I find that like, yes, we're gonna do that. Like when we write the master plan, like we write it in, like, that's something we're gonna do. Again, you know, I'm that way. Words mean a lot, and that's.
Yeah, definitely don't want to like set the town up for failure or anything.
Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
that makes sense.
Again, because I can't
Small,
see
but
us. I mean, I guess everybody can throw in $5 and we can start a trust, but you know, you need to have a real funding source if you're gonna. And I just can't see that happening when I look at what our potential revenue is in our.
You can bring a tax increase to the town.
We could give everybody. We could raise. You know.
I think we've talked about community preservation
Yeah,
fund before,
exactly.
and that
So
got
we
voted
say-
down
and
quickly.
we say,
So
like, you know, we're gonna-
there isn't an appetite for that.
We're going to adopt the Community Preservation Act. All right, everybody in town, we're going to raise everybody's taxes 2%. We're going to support our, like, they're going to be like, at the town meeting, they're going to destroy us. Like, they're going to, like, so there's just no way that's ever going to happen. So pursue the Community Preservation Act, no way. Maybe we support a study.
Consider, yeah. So it's a
Consider
word.
it. So
It would,
that's-
it would be interesting to bring that in front of the town to see what
We would
will
be,
happen.
they might actually boo us.
The select board has to do that.
Right, so that's what I'm just, again, that terminology, I think that really needs to be tweaked in this. I would feel uncomfortable voting, saying, yeah, let's go, let's pursue it. I just don't think that's the right word. But I will, again, I have 9 pages of notes, so we won't go through my notes. I will email them to Jane, and she can share with the board, and then we can discuss if I'm
I think that's
just
a good
being
idea.
a little crazy with some of my comments. And does the board want to speak, or do we want to open it up to the public for comments, or how do we want to proceed?
I just had a question to Chair. So thank you. There's a ton of research put into this. I appreciate all the development work that you guys did. And you must have excellent databases to get all this stuff. So, and thank you for making it actionable. So you closed with the whole, like, this is what we should do. And that's important, because that's how we make progress. In the 5,000 some odd units that you counted, these are the housing units in Charlton, 5,000, I think, right? 5,100. Did that include the overlook?
Oh, that's a good question, because some of the overlook units are people
Some
living
are-
there full time, or are they just there for a short
No, it's just-
time for
it's
recovery?
full-time. It's a
That is
permanent.
full-time. Okay, so
Yeah.
those
It's
would be
permanent.
included, yes, because
But
it's
they
year-round
don't
housing.
own, but they don't own them. I mean,
Yeah, I guess they would be considered rentals.
yeah, they're kind
Yeah.
of rentals.
Yeah.
So I don't know what your rules are to count them. It is, but yeah, but they don't own a deed to the thing. They pay rent, and then they get some of that back to their estate when they use it.
That's a good question. I will definitely verify that. I
Yeah.
assume that those are included, but that brings up a good question of,
Yeah.
like, for example, like college housing. Like, is that included?
Yeah,
And
right.
I don't.
Because it's, well, these are year-round college housing.
Yeah.
isn't-
Yeah.
But similar idea.
Yeah.
Thanks, Emily.
And I don't, how vulnerable are we at any given moment to having,
The comprehensive permit?
yeah.
At any time, a developer could come.
And we just have
Yes.
to,
Mhm.
And it'd actually be kind of great, because maybe since we have no water or no sewer, they would actually build that for our town. So it's a very positive thing.
That's one of the problems with, that's one of the issues with
you
getting a
mean
40B
pay for
permit
the
is you-
sewer and water connections?
No, I mean, I don't even think there is enough, we have no capacity for sewer, they actually have to build their own sewer system, build their own sewer plant. I mean, I guess for.
which is feasible for some of these developments, so
So-
they do that.
So there may be some appetite then
Challenge them
for not preventing it.
what you have.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just being unbiased in saying like the potential. I just don't see the ability to ever build a project with that a unit big enough to actually change our percentage that would. So here's an example. So we have a lot of in another like in the plan we have commercial and industrial properties, and any place where one of those kind of facilities would go would really be in one of our commercial or industrial zoned areas. So what we would have to do is we would have to say we don't really want any tax revenue from businesses to come in and create, because that's really would only fit. That's where the water's available. So we would have to say, yes, we're going to sacrifice the tax revenue that we would get from a business coming in and paying us taxes and helping us fund the town. And we could build one of those. We could build a large apartment complex, but it would be the change of zoning, and we would be sacrificing potential tax revenue to do so. So it's a balance. We want to bring in say the low income housing, but do we sacrifice potential revenue that we need because.
Well, in some cases, that's the appropriate spot for the low-income housing because it's near.
And that's exactly true. So
your businesses and
if
everything
you
else,
really
so
look at this and you
it's-
scrutinize and I'm sure you guys did kind of scrutinize our zoning and our mapping where actual tax revenue would be, we would have to say give up that tax revenue and say we want to bring in the 40B. It's really our only, again, as much as land is, that's the only place that would support something like that. So again, all these, I've been on this one for a long time, and I've never really worried about anybody bringing in I never thought about anybody fixing the issue we have. I'll be in a situation where a lot of us are in a situation where we're going to want to sell our houses and get into something smaller. And we don't have that. It's a huge issue. We don't have that available in our town. I know many senior citizens that are land rich or house rich, and they have very little income. There is no place for them to go. So that's an issue. However, we can't solve that issue by giving up potential revenue for tax money from businesses that would come in and use that area. This is one of those things that the town has to go on and consider.
If I may, Madam Chair, just one of the things to consider with the 40B process is if we adopt this, this just gives us what's called safe harbor, which means you can deny a 40B. So all these considerations of balancing land use, things like that. If somebody comes in with a gigantic project that completely waives all zoning requirements and it provides 15% affordable housing, if the town doesn't think it's a good idea, people are opposed to it, there's really nothing the town can do. It kind of ends up like the LNG situation. It's happening, appeal it all you want. The Housing Appeals Committee is going to say, too bad, you can't deal with it. And if you are at that 10% affordability, or in our case, we've adopted this, and we have that safe harbor, what that allows is you can still say yes to these things. And in fact, there's kind of two types of 40Bs. There's friendly 40Bs and hostile 40Bs, where sometimes a 40B is just a great way to get a lot of housing online. You can even have it sometimes where it's 100% of the units will be affordable, and there'll be different variations of affordability from 80%, 50%, 30%, whatever it is. It just now gives the town the ability to say no. Where right now, if somebody comes in with a 40B, they're basically saying this is what we're doing, and we're gonna do it. That being said, because of the sewer issues, I think we're not a prime target for them.
They need to bring in
I
water.
have to bring everything, basically.
And we said we're zero capacity for sewer. So they would have to actually build their own sewer plant. There's not a septic system big enough to satisfy, something that big, so.
But worth noting is the state generally doesn't consider, you can deny in, very, very narrow set of circumstances, and the state generally hasn't considered lack of sewer capacity or lack of water capacity to be a reason for denial, and that has overturned those denials.
But they'd have to build it though.
And then is it then the responsibility of the developer to do it, or? is that-
Unclear. I haven't been in, haven't seen those situations, those results, but I know if that was denial, who does that fall on to deal with that?
Well, they're not gonna have the town build
It
them.
is the
sewer.
builder's responsibility
Yeah,
to do that, but there are systems that they can build for multi-units
Yeah.
that are, I'm not gonna say they're cheap, but they're possible. All right, so do we want to table this till next week, maybe, and give another opportunity
Yeah, we have a
to
lot. I mean,
to look at?
honestly, there's just some tweaking of the words that I would that pursue to, research or consider. There's other questions, but what, maybe this board can put together a basic list of questions. Would that make sense? And then we can
that'd be great.
send them over. We're not hostile to anything. We just know that we've been doing this for a long time, and it's very hard. So we truly, I can say my own mother-in-law we're looking for some place for her to stay because she was so lovely to have in our house, but she really, and there's just no options locally. And what we do have, it's not like our locals can use it because it's sort of priority from the state, so we're really in a bad position with our senior citizens.
Question? Just a couple questions. Those projects, at the Shrewsbury Worcester line, right at the market to where they put those, I guess, condos up and down. Is any of that project part of like an 80-20 plan, or is it all market?
That I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Okay, well, let me get the more simple one. In Auburn, right behind Sheldon's, up on the hill,
Yeah.
there's at least 200 units that were just built in the last 18 months.
Yeah.
You know about those?
Yeah, was that the redevelopment of the Mary? There was like an old school that they redeveloped
No,
and added on.
No, that was
more?
down towards.
No, Mary B. Stone School,
Oh,
on top
okay.
of Auburn Center.
Okay.
I'm talking about right at the Oxford Auburn line.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that.
You're not familiar with it?
No.
Go on Google Earth. I mean, you take a ride up there. It's incredible. Each building, I think, is 36 units, 3 stories tall. And there's got to be 15 to 18 of them. You don't know anything about that?
I haven't.
Okay, well, all right. Okay, if I'm just curious if it was an 80-20 deal.
You mean like 80?
Well, if you want to build a project and you're looking for special financing, you got to put in, or you have the town request, you got to put in a percentage of affordable units.
That's for 40B.
No, not 40. No, just that there are plans out there that this is what it calls for. Our own town of Charlton, 55 and over, you have to do 10%.
If it's in the bylaws.
It is in the bylaw.
Right.
And our former director, Alan Gordon, I don't know if you had a chance. Did you read our 40B bylaw? He's got a hurdle in there. I know there's a couple of them that started in Charlton. They had to stop because at a point in time, you got to come up with a percentage of cash, tens of thousands of dollars to continue. And that's usually the stopper. Because a lot of times you don't get the building. You get the permit advocate who puts permits together. Then he takes the package and tries to sell it. What Alan did was, you want to put the permits together, you're going to come up with this sizable amount of cash. Did you read that in there? You didn't see it?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'll have to check.
Again, we already have roadblocks in there as far as 40Bs go. They may say, I want to do a 40B. Well, go ahead. Oh yeah, by the way, you're going to have to come up with with a third of your project cost as a deposit. I mean, talk about flying away, they're gone. That's what usually turns some of
Alan
these,
for you.
well, it's,
Alan.
yeah, again, and so,
We do need senior housing, and I don't think anybody's denying that, but I can't even imagine this community or our school districts being able to deal with like family housing. We can deal with it.
one other point is the town of Plymouth, the largest land mass in the state, they've got 7 manufactured homes developed parks. There's got to be 500 to 800 manufactured homes. And why isn't the state advocating those? Very reasonable. Oh yeah, they only pay $12 fee. There's no real estate tax on it because it's chattel mortgage. Again, very good. I said enough.
So no, we're trying to develop, even where we have the county has a housing plan, and we have to vote to support it or not, and so I just want to make sure that if they're voting to support it, that it has a lot of common sense to what Charlton really needs. So that's the issue.
With the stretch code, nothing supported. Sorry. Take a hard look at it. A lot of communities are finally waking up and saying, starter homes in this town are $550. Starter home. Crazy.
So again, we have this, but how do we really do something? There's so many roadblocks, but it would have been interesting to be on this maybe 5. Let us, I'm sure we all have comments. I'm not sure if everybody read this entire thing. Let us digest it, organize some questions and some comments. And I don't know, it's still draft form, but so again, I feel so much more comfortable supporting this if we just tweak the words, pursue to research. I'm not sure if that hurts us when it goes to the state to get approved, because if there were new ideas to fund a trust, that's great. I'm not here saying we don't want low-income housing. We do. I see the need. I know people in the community that really need. They're in a situation where they could really, need it, use it, and to be able to remain here a lot. So lots of grandparents, right? So I just want to make sure that the board is comfortable with it before we. So we'll do that. Do I have any other comments from the audience so we'll continue this public hearing?
Well, it's not a public hearing, so it's
Oh,
just a
so
discussion,
it's-
so we don't need any votes or
Public
anything.
meeting.
It's a public meeting, so,
Do we need to vote to continue it, or no, just to?
I just have it on the agenda for when you folks want to have next.
Yeah, let's put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So yes, if everybody will just send, and anybody from the public or anybody that's listening, send your comments. If you want a copy of the plan, you can reach out, it can be emailed to anybody that's listening on the.
Do you have this electronic? Who has this?
If I have it electronic, I'll go ahead and post it on the planning board
Yeah.
webpage, just so you can just whenever and review it.
What is the time frame that we're looking to submit and approve? Is there, do you guys have a,
It's really whenever you're comfortable. There's not a strict timeline, so. Yeah.
all right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you both.
We need this, in any negative comments that I made, again, we have bad communication sometimes in this town hall, and I'm just surprised that, I sit on this board and I didn't even know that
Yeah.
this was all happening.
That's surprising to me
I
too.
just find that surprising also.
So, yeah, but again, not on you, it's on us for not communicating as well. But, thank you so much for presenting.
Yeah, thank you.
And we will
Thank you for your
shoot
comments.
you an
Looking
email
forward.
with
Appreciate your feedback. Thank you.
everyone?
My business card.
Please.
Emily Square.
So we had, notice Otis Land Management LLC from 4 Griffin Road. I think there's just a field change request to discuss.
Sign in, please. If you haven't.
And I'll just note I have for all of you there in the Graves report, myself and Mike Andre went out to the site. I saw what they were doing. Everything looks good. We've gotten the updated plans. Everything looks good on our end.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
The only comment that I want to point out here is planning board may accept modifications of the field change on the condition that the updated fire truck swept path analysis be provided and demonstrates the required emergency vehicle access is maintained. And I think that's a reasonable condition.
And I'm asking for that to be waived because that's a whole project in itself, okay? I spoke with the chief. We're not restricting the flow in any way. We have an opening there between the two existing buildings if they were built as on plan of 30 feet. Moving the building and combining it still will leave 30 feet. State of Mass, I believe it's a 20-foot width, so we're still gonna have our 10-foot of expansion. You know what I mean? That's already there, so there's no change. I respect that Mike Andre put that on there, but it's not something that my engineer can just simply put in a program. It's something that you have to sub out, and it's an extra fee, and there's no purpose for it. So I did, speak to the chief prior to the meeting and said, Chief, we still are going to maintain a 30-foot because that's what we have between the buildings. So whether I take, these two things and I got 30 feet here and I move it here, I'm still gonna have 30 feet here now. That's it, you know what I'm saying?
But you're gonna still have access to both buildings?
The buildings are getting merged.
I guess I don't know what the field change is, other than so that's it's.
I believe I sent that out. It's just showing the. I can go ahead and print a copy here if you need one.
Yeah, please.
I can draw it right here for you, if you'd like,
sure.
okay? So basically, we've got an existing building,
Yep.
okay? That's 20 feet wide. We got 30 feet, okay?
Yep.
30 feet, and then we got a 10-foot building, okay? That's 10 feet. I'm moving this 10-foot building right here, okay? And now from the back of this building to the front of this building will still give me 30 feet. The only reason I'm doing is just to pull it away from a ledge front that's right there.
Okay.
That's all. Nothing changes. So this building becomes 30 feet wide, okay, by the width. This building goes away, and the driveway just moves over to where this existing building was, and still 30 feet.
Okay.
So there's no change, you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's just the ledge is vertical right there. I'm pulling it away.
So that becomes one building instead of
One
two.
building instead of having a 20 by whatever the length is, and a 10 by whatever the length is. It becomes a 30 by the length, like 249 or something.
Okay.
Is this the property line?
No, the property line's way up here, so that doesn't affect anything. It's up the ledge, there's already the chain link fences in place for the building, everything's there. So the curb is gonna be here, okay, instead of here and here for the fire trucks, that's it. So it's just taking this building, sliding it together, and we're gonna still have 30 feet.
And there's more than one building up there, though, isn't there?
There's 11 buildings, and there'll be 9 now.
Okay. Okay, so it's just one building that's changing?
Two of these exact same buildings. So
Okay.
when you drive up here, you're just gonna come down this roadway instead of coming down between them.
Okay.
So it actually gives more room because we do have a trench drainage swale right here, so it makes it nicer.
And no problem with the sweep around?
No, that's a 25-foot radius, and we have plenty.
This building has moved this direction.
Did you get that measurement for me?
Excuse me?
Did you get the
This
measurement?
was
The
a separate
distance?
building, is now.
Measurement of where?
No, from the South Sturbridge to the
Oh, I
end,
didn't. What was that? You said for a,
the length.
For
From
the
South
length.
Sturbridge to the far end.
I will get that. The survey is away until this coming Monday. I'll have them survey it and get it over
From
to you.
South Sturbridge to the very end.
Yep.
Just so I know.
For the pole and the hose. I will get that. I apologize. So do you see it on there?
I do see it. I do
It's
see
a
it
little
now.
confusing sometimes on there. Would you like me to
No,
point it out to you?
I can
Yep.
see it.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you.
And none of the parking's moving?
Nothing.
Any of
Just
that?
those two buildings. Because it will leave me more access to clean that water swale
So it's
between
just
the
these usual
berms
that you
and the
have
thing.
chip
Yeah,
and
it's
down.
just, we have no
Okay.
problem, it's just that
Okay.
we can just drive straight up.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, as long as the fire chief
Yeah.
doesn't have an issue with that component of that, then
Yeah.
the planning board wouldn't have an issue with
We already
the
do
department.
buildings.
We met on it. The only thing I asked him has nothing to do with the movement, but I was just
Yeah,
curious.
so
as
it's just a make, all we're
from
doing is
South
just starting
Sturbridge
it
to the
over, so
very
this
end, in the
roadway,
event
instead of
that there was a
squeezing
fire at
between
the
these
very
two
end,
buildings, is just gonna
how
go
much
around the
hose I
outside.
have to lay out, and he was just
Probably
like,
like, make sure
has
the
nothing to do
design
with
away
this.
from day
Approved.
zero.
Well, no, it's just the ledge face was so high, I didn't want it that close to the back of the building.
So,
You want to see? Yeah,
I did
you said,
see it,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
so we're just asking, they're just asking to, instead of it submitting a sort of a plan, that this is just a, continue as a field change.
Yep.
And Mike recommends that we do as long as fire is happy with it. So,
How do you,
we,
I'm sorry.
oh, go ahead.
Just thought it was- How do you get to the middle units then?
You don't. It's only still two doors, so the unit becomes, instead of a 20-foot wide unit with two doors on each side, it becomes 30 feet wide with two doors.
So you just
So
made
it's,
bigger units.
yeah, because the interior wall moves.
Yeah, okay.
So you could make that a 10 by 10 by 10,
Yeah.
and then a 10 by 20,
Okay.
or you could leave it all open and have a 10 by 30.
Yeah.
So that middle wall is like that partition right there for the room. You divide up what you want.
So you reduced the number of units, but you made some bigger.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
Yeah,
So there's
overall,
no middle units.
no middle units. No.
Sorry.
No, that's good.
So, do we have a motion to accept this as
I'll make a motion to accept the Forest Sturbridge Road as a field change number 2.
with the condition that he provides the measurements to the chief, with
Yeah.
the distance, that's
I
all.
think that's a distance just for the
The hose,
hose,
yeah.
that's all. And I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Beautiful, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Take care, thank you. Thank you, chief, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Not yet.
So we have, Nick Sarah is next on the agenda, but they have requested to move it to their meeting to September 16th, 2026. Do we need to vote for the,
You don't have to take a motion on that, it's just a public meeting, administrative item.
all right. We have the Lansky site plan application for 123 Worcester Road, and that's a new one. I believe. So, in accordance with section 207.1 and 207.2 of the Charlton zoning bylaw, the Charlton zoning board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 12th, 6:30 in the planning board office in the George C. McKin Street building on Main Street, on the application of Robert Lemansky, 157 Sunset Drive, Charlton, Mass, for site plan approval to construct a 7,454 square foot commercial building. The property is located at 123 Worcester Road, Charlton, Mass. Assessors map 26, block B, parcel 16 in the zone community business.
Madam Chair, Kevin Quinn with Quinn Engineering, we're representing the owner and applicant. Rob Lemansky is the applicant, he's with me tonight. He promises he's gonna say nothing. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
Is that on the record?
I'm not sure I believe that one.
This could be a profitable meeting for us.
So we have an application for site plan review in front of the board. The plan calls for a 7,500 square foot building with site improvements. The parking area for the site has 40 parking spaces. That's over the zoning requirements, 30 would be required. Rob has a prospective tenant who feels that he needs more parking. We like that. From a site design standpoint, it gives us a good sense that we have a client that knows what they need and we can accommodate those needs. We have a stormwater system designed in compliance with the stormwater management handbook. And I know Graves has had some comments on that, which I'll come back to in a minute. We did get comments from Graves Engineering. We responded August 5th. I guess Mike's away on vacation, has been away on vacation, so I didn't get back from him. I don't know if the board has, but we expect to hear back from him. So I don't know if the board, I don't think the board would want to make a decision in the absence of your engineer weighing in on that. A couple of things came along that I just want to take a minute to mention. Mike asked if we would produce a photometric plan, lighting intensity plan. We do those sometimes. In this case, we're in a commercial district. We're surrounded by non-residential properties, and we have got Route 20. The bylaw says we have to provide you with a lighting plan, but it doesn't say an intensity plan, a photometric plan. So if it's suitable to the board, we would ask that you set that aside, but I would look to the board to give us direction on that. Yes.
I would only be concerned about the excessive light spilling out onto Route 20 and causing traffic issues.
I think that would help Route 20, but that would be...
Well,
yeah.
it depends on how it depends on which direction those lights go. Yeah. So I think that's one reason that we would request it. I don't know, we can discuss that, but like I said.
There's also, they've noted that the driveway is not compliant with the separation from two driveways. The driveway is supposed to be separated by 50 feet, okay? The driveway that we proposed is actually reflecting the existing driveway. It was installed by Mass DOT when they reconstructed Route 20. The curb cut and driveway were put in by DOT. We're just extending that driveway. So we would ask the board consider waiving that requirement for that separation. It would be disruptive to our plan in any case. I can show you that this is the proposed driveway, which, as I say, is just an extension of the existing driveway and curb cut, and the one next door is less than 50 feet. If we have to push this driveway over, it's pretty disruptive to our plan. We could probably make it work, but the plan would work best as we've laid it out. And we laid it out based on the existing physical driveway that was installed.
Where the curb cut is for that property now.
I'm sorry? Yes, right. Yeah, actually, they put in the curb cut, and they even put in an apron and a little bit of a driveway.
Now, doesn't that other driveway, isn't there a water tank up there?
That's next to us. Yeah, that's right. The water tank is directly behind this property.
That's why is that why the cut was done?
No, that cut, just, I got a picture here, so that cuts right there under that
Okay.
there,
All right.
which is right next to the door.
And that's where Mass Dot wanted your cut to be, right? They
I'm sorry?
That's, Mass Highway already wanted, they want.
That's where Mass Highway put the
They
curb cut
already
in.
said to put it
Yeah,
anyways.
they can do that.
So even if we wanted to move it, they might not let you move it anyways.
Well, our life would be more complicated, I'd say that. We'd have to dismantle some of it and reconstruct it, and it would be, as I say, we kind of built the plan around that curb cut. It would be disruptive to our plan to relocate it. I think from a functionality standpoint, and certainly, I think the board could certainly speak to the neighbor next door, who happens to be sitting to my left, who owns this driveway
He's going to
here.
complain.
Yeah. The board can consider it, and we would take it up in the future.
What's the shading?
That's the property next door. That's his pavement. The gray, yeah. The green is green space.
Right. But his property does.
Yes, it goes way over. Yes. Yep.
I have to, Kevin, interfere. Sorry. The driveway cut, if you go back in history, Mr. T-Berry, the original owner of the property some 60, 70 years ago, he used to have his farm stand on that property. He lived across the street, and actually he owned the other corner as well. But that's where his wife would go over and attend to the vegetable stand.
On
up
your
there.
property? On
Yeah,
yours?
well, again,
Yeah.
bought it from the T-Berries.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was over the years, yeah, that's where the opening is, so fine. The opening, I just passed it on and passed it on.
Can I answer the question?
Is that the only waiver really you're looking for?
That's the only one that we see, yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, we could stack some up if you want us to.
No, I'm surprised.
There was another question in the Graves report about the stormwater management being odd.
Yep. Here's what we did. he would call it irregular or unusual. I would call it innovative. It's not that I have my salesman's hat on, but we have a stormwater collection area above the site, and what it does, it collects off-site runoff and uses that runoff for recharge. Now, the stormwater management policy addresses treatment of stormwater collected from paved surfaces before you can recharge it. In this case, we're collecting clean runoff and recharging that, which from an environmental standpoint, I submit is much more desirable. Graves Engineering, Mike's a talented and critical guy, but he's also logical, and I think he will listen to this, and I would look forward to us having a little bit of a discussion with him. But I think, frankly, it's a good idea, and I think Mike will concur with it if we get a chance to discuss it.
And you're also recharging the pavement runoff, or?
Well, we meet the recharge standard by collecting the offsite runoff. So it's we
Your
think it's
infiltration is large enough to capture all the
absolutely, yeah.
And
sure
the
is.
infiltration is
That little depression right there. Yep.
through the depression. Through the,
Yes. Yep.
So we'll let the engineers meet and Mike will advise us accordingly.
Okay.
And so you've had time to see Graves, you've seen his
We
comments?
got their initial comments, and we actually responded to them the first week of August. But as I say, Mike's been away, so he hasn't had an opportunity.
Yeah, this is, July 27th,
So, in the beginning of August.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a couple, stormwater, the storage calculations.
As I say,
And it looks like you've changed, you've got the pit locations.
we think we're pretty good with stormwater design, but those guys always come in with great questions, and they always kind of challenge us, which is good. That's what we're on.
And did you make the updates that he requested on his?
Yes, with the exception of the photometric plan and the relocating the driveway.
Okay.
I think we've responded fully to
Everything
all
else,
the comments.
the elevations and all.
I believe we've responded to everything fully. I mean, Mike will have to review that and be satisfied with it.
Right. How about the site distance on the road?
Yep.
and all
Yep, we showed him the site distance, if you're looking west, is 560 feet, way over.
Yeah.
And there's Jersey barriers in the middle of Route 20, so there's no need for site distance looking the other way. But it would be hundreds of feet if we did measure it. And that was a field verified site distance too.
Now, are they building mounted lights, pole lights? What's on the plan?
We have building mounted lights. I don't think we have any. I don't think we have site. I think pole mounted, but I think we have building mounted.
I think we call them either 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But what we do is, this building's going to have the 4-sided roof, and in the soffit, just like we did with the vets, is we'll put in the soffit lights, which gives you coverage.
Wall
for the
packs
parking.
shining down.
And I will say this, is that we did put up 2 pole lights. One of the pole lights over the vets shines to the east. We had to adjust it 3 times, because as you come up by the hill there, that light, even though we had it on the parking lot, that it was still glaring.
On. So that's my biggest concern, is the glare on the highway coming to that.
Kurt takes care of that.
Okay.
Kurt was right on it. Rob?
And there's no pole lights for this building, we're just,
No, I think we have
just
a couple installed, but
No, on this side. On
no,
this
no. We have the architect. The architect has come up with a couple of them.
Okay.
And they would be in the front left, the front corner, which would be east, and I think he's got one over on the right corner, which would be the west, coming in this way, but nothing going towards Route 20.
There's no lights on Route 20 near you right now?
No.
No lights on this section.
The intersection is lighted.
Yeah.
Intersection.
And then the commissioner made some mention of the retaining walls and controlled construction on those.
Yes.
Can you give me that detail?
We have to.
I have a question. The last item here mentions talking to Mass DOT. Can you check with them to see how they feel about your current arrangement?
As far as the driveway?
Well, yeah. In other
We
words,
have
that's
to, we
what
have
they
to file
intend.
a permit application with DOT anyway.
So you believe that that can be resolved? at that
I don't-
point?
The distance
we're not-
bylaw is us, right? The distance. between
Yes, right, the bylaw is your zoning
is
bylaw.
what it
Ah,
are.
Has that
So
separation
it's-
requirement.
So, I mean, I guess they're not like have a comment or something, but it's really up to us to waive.
And they put that curb
If
cut in there.
if they put it in
Okay.
knowing what the other driveway is already.
Yep.
So,
Thank you for that.
The-
so that's
The neighbor has two driveways going in, it's kind of a loop around, is that right?
Yes.
we were lucky to have you.
How many, like, units? Is this just one tenant?
Right now, we anticipate 6,000 square feet goes to the prospective tenant that Rob is working with, and there's a remaining 1,500 feet that would go, be seeking a tenant.
All on one, how tall is this?
One level.
One level building,
On the
open span, the whole thing?
open span.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a top secret tenant, but do you have, what is it, what industry is it? I'm nosy, you know.
It's a tenant we already have, and
Oh, okay.
and what they want to do is increase their space. They already have 1,900 square feet, now they want,
Okay.
want this 6,000.
I was waiting for something exciting to come to town.
Well, they're in town, they're already in town, but they just bring more people.
It's a grocery store.
Yeah. Any dock doors, loading
No
doors?
docks.
No ducks.
No.
So it's not warehousing? It's
No,
just-
no,
yeah,
no,
it's
it's
just-
just office.
Yeah, it's just office.
Office, and then maybe some type of retail on the corner.
The elevation drawings look good, I mean, it's a nice looking building.
I'd love to say it's a Trader Joe's, but save my wife some driving, but.
Can you work on that?
Yeah, I can, I'd love to, but
A piece of
they
property,
wanted to go
that.
to Starbridge.
Yeah.
That's where they wanted to go. They didn't.
What's your plans for heating and cooling this area?
Probably propane,
Yeah.
and then with the air conditioning is just regular conventional units that mount outside with the
Heat pumps.
with the air handles on the inside. I mean, old school.
Yeah.
You know, heat pumps. So we can't afford them.
Mm-hmm. What are the plans for this? Is the property still?
That's my neighbor likes to go hunting, so he goes up there and yeah, but no plans yet.
Put the farm stand back in there?
Well, that then would be over the 43,280 square feet disturbed area, and we get what happens there? Is that
Stormwater
stormwater?
permit.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Disturbed. Go to town of Auburn, it's only what 6,000 square feet. Disturbed area. You got to go through hell. Is what you got to go through. It's awful.
So do we want to,
Continue the public hearing?
I assume that,
We should have a grades report for September 2nd. Do we have room on the schedule for?
We have as much room on the 2nd as we do on the 16th, so.
Well,
Just as bad for both of us.
I would have, yeah. All right. So is there already a placeholder on there for, do you know?
do you
Yes?
guys prefer a set one of those? Or do you want to?
She wants it sooner than
Yeah,
later.
the sooner the better.
Second we could at least review. We have the fundamentals here. So it's really
So we
just-
get a great chance to put the rest of the stuff up. All right, I'll make it
What,
a
before we do that, what do we think about the photo?
Sorry. We did have an opportunity, the fire inspector did have an opportunity to review the plans. He wasn't able to send his comments in, so he elects to send it with me. The only thing that we're asking for is an EAS box to be mounted on the building so we can gain access into the building. It's a pretty standard request for all commercial properties. It just limits our damage to the building in the event that we have to get into the building off hours for alarms. He wasn't able to, he says it appears that we have the ability to get our fire apparatus around the building. He's just wondering if we can get a radius study.
We have your truck access.
Yeah, exactly. So
with layout,
just to confirm, just to make sure that we can get access. And I'm sure you know that as long as the building is under 7,500 square feet, it doesn't require a sprinkler.
That's why it's $74.99.
Well, that's what, when he measured it, and he told me that it was that, and I go,
That's a
Mr.
coincidence,
is a very,
Chief.
very smart man.
That's a coincidence, Chief.
Yeah, exactly. So he had that noted just to confirm that it's less than the 7,500 square feet, just so that way it doesn't require that. But that's it. We didn't have any other notations on the plan, so.
Chief, again, I got the look. The Knox box.
Yeah.
The people, you know what the Knox boxes, you know those little boxes you see outside building? What do you think it costs for a Knox box? If I'm going to go buy a Knox box. And again, it's a reasonable request.
Mm-hmm.
They used to be $456, but do you think they went down? Of course not. It's it's just nuts.
I don't think we have any control over the price of that, though. So
Right,
preaching to the choir here.
Again, Chief, am I required by law to have one?
You're not required by law to have one, but it is in your best interest to have one, right?
Sometimes, you break down the front door, it's less money than with that Knox box.
There was a recent business that unfortunately did not have one, and we had to access their business using our firefighter conventional devices,
Okay.
and he then put a Knox box on because he realized
I'll get to the front door.
Yeah, he realized that it was much cheaper to put the box. And to your point, I believe the price has actually come down significantly, and you may have put the wrong box on because we just priced one out for a business, and I think it's $300 or less, to be honest with you.
So it's reduced.
Yes, I believe it is. I believe it's $300 with the company. I just priced one out for a business, so I can get you the flyer tomorrow. So for that.
I mean, it's a lot cheaper than the cost of replacing a door.
Right.
Pretty thick Polish guy here. A friend of mine was tearing a building down in north of Boston, and the Knox box was there. So I says, John, put that aside. A off-duty fireman came by and said, I'm from the fire department, I want to take the box. Took the box. What do you think that box was? Anyways, moving on. Nice job, Kevin.
That's a
Thank you.
$300 one that you don't have right there.
I'll make a motion to send this public hearing to September 2nd for 23 West Road.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
everybody.
Yes.
In the meantime, if you
Thanks,
want
Chief.
to talk about this,
Thank you.
the photometric plan, you want to
Let's wait to hear back from Graves.
Okay.
I think we need to know what's going there for lights and make sure that there are no,
Can we reach out to Graves on that when it is
They're down lights and not up.
engineers talk to see
They're shielded and on all sides.
what they're proposing for lighting?
Just the shielded so that they only. We don't want to have
I've got is request for waiver for photometric. We're asking on that. We'll talk to Graves.
Yeah,
and
we
see
still
if
like
that's
to
something
look at the lighting plan just to make sure that there's no reflection lights, they're completely down lights, and they don't reflect the Indian belt.
I think it was, if I understand correctly, it was you can do the kind of lumen, where the intensity is, so forth, but they could just say what's your lighting downtown.
If we could save them a little bit of money.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I just want to make sure it's not blinded by just.
Exactly, but if it's a safety issue, I absolutely want to have a design plan. And I usually, and my customer does tell us, yeah, you guys should do it.
He's good.
Alright, so we have, Great Grace LLC, we could read something, do you have a?
Yeah, the sheet in your packet, did I not put it attached to here? I think it was out, I put it in your packet, like it was in the wrong place.
Oh, no, you're right. So, in accordance with section 207.1 and 207.2 of the Charlton zoning bylaw, the Charlton planning board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 12th, in the planning board office, 37 Main Street, Charlton, Mass, on the application of Great Grace for LLC, 7 Village Street, Dudley, Mass, for site plan approval to renovate an existing 2,312 square foot building into a proposed restaurant. The property is located at 61 North Main Street, Charlton, Mass, 01507. Assessors map 35, lot D, parcel 27.2. Said property zone village. You guys want to do a quick presentation for us?
Okay, so basically, there's no changes outside. I had talked to Curtis, Commissioner Curtis, sorry. And, I mean, there's more parking than what's required. I mean, the existing parking, there's 16 regular spaces towards the front. There's 4 handicapped right by the entry door. And there's 5, what I consider employee parking, out to the left. And so you technically have 16 regular, 5 employee, and 4. But what's required is 12 spaces and 4, well, there's 4 handicapped, so I consider they're having about 4 employees. So there's plenty of parking back here, and we have plenty of parking up front, plus the handicap parking.
And it's all based on the amount of tables, right, that in the restaurant, right, so that the calculation is based
With
on
the,
the
yeah,
size,
with the occupancy load.
which is pretty, there's only so much space, so you only can fit so many tables, so it's not gonna change, it's not,
Right, and actually, to be honest, the sitting area, if you guys want to just kind of take a look, is right here, and then the kitchen and everything else is over here. The kitchen area and everything else takes up more room than the actual seating area. Sorry, I didn't bring the big thing. I just figured you guys didn't have.
No, we didn't.
So,
We don't have these.
well, because they didn't ask for them, sorry. But that's why I brought Lisa's copy.
So I think that you were potentially asking to waive the site plan application because there isn't any change.
Well, yeah, I had just asked the question, and it was your first week, wasn't it?
Yeah, so this was something kind of, I took this in as a site plan application. It was this week in kind of reviewing the bylaw that I actually realized that the whole thing can be waived, and I'll just kind of go through here where this is. Included in your packet, it is 207.1 .d 2 C through F. So the planning board may, in any particular case where such action is allowed by law, in the public interest and not inconsistent with the purpose and intent of the site plan review, waive strict compliance with its rules and regulations, and the planning board may waive the requirement for site plan review where there is a change in use or occupancy and no substantial construction or improvements to the site will occur, and the waiver may only be granted after a finding by the planning board that the proposed use will not substantially affect existing drainage, vehicular and pedestrian circulation patterns, and any of the other standards or criteria provided for here and after in this section, that sufficient parking exists to serve the new proposed use. And this fits all those criteria. No changes to the exterior, everything's going to be on the interior, and based on their proposed use, they have sufficient parking. So if you folks are able to make that finding, which I believe you have sufficient evidence to do so, you can. In either case, you can permit it however you see fit. In all cases, it is permissible with what is submitted.
I mean, there's a lot of flexibility with the
Yep,
village, with
yep,
the
yep.
village district, and I did look at this, and I'm not sure what we're actually gonna look at on a.
Yeah, I think I have a couple questions, if I can, through the chair. What type of restaurant is it? I mean, it's what type of food, or is there substantial takeout
It's
involved
gonna
too?
might be a pickup. I haven't
Okay.
decided yet, but mostly maybe a pickup
Okay.
and a special dining restaurant.
So it's
If they don't deserve it.
how many tables do you expect, or?
It's about 30 customers.
30 customers, okay. With substantial takeout? I mean, the only reason I'm asking is the traffic in and out of there, is that enough parking? If you've got 30 people in there and there's still people coming in to pick up food, and it's just something to think about. So,
Based on what we have with Charlton Pizza, you know, like over there. And
yeah,
and
I mean, I
like
guess that might be
spots
similar if
in
it's,
and out,
yep, yep. So, okay.
Can I just respond to that too? Just my assumption, being a parent, being whatever, is, you know, to go to a pizza place or Italian pizza restaurant, whatever, you know, and you go in, there's actually seating there. It's, to me, it would be more fun to just go out and sit there, and so you don't have to clean up my house afterwards. But I mean, it's just, there will be tables, you know, so I think that once people get to know that there's enough space and whatnot, they won't just order everything to go.
Gotcha.
So that's.
Usually I have another restaurant, Salisbury. So usually I get to a point every table is busy.
Okay.
So customer just decide to take it to them.
Okay, take it to the next,
Yeah,
the next town.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the seating capacity going to be, basically?
I have that. Hold on.
34 is what you have?
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
I did read that. Senior one.
It actually sounds pretty reasonable to me, doesn't it? I think for something like that. Anywhere close to the city. Consider the gold mine.
I've just seen some restaurants that have way too much parking for what they have for indoor customers, and mostly takeout. And I've seen other restaurants that don't have nearly enough parking for the number of tables and customers.
And you don't know,
yes,
you know,
yeah,
like hopefully
yeah.
it'll be a big hit, right? And it'll be packed all the time. So
I'm just thinking, if it's packed all the time, is there enough space for, you got 34, let's say 15, 10, 12 tables? Does that sound about right? 10 or 12 tables? Is that probably okay?
Yeah, and there's a lot more spaces there than what's actually required.
Yep.
So we have an overflow
yeah, and there is
available.
I mean, there's a calculation, right? How many tables you have in the restaurant to the seating plan, so that's how they calculate it. And then, so that's, I mean, if it was any sort of a drive-through or anything, then that would be a huge, that would be a huge issue. But it's certainly a better setup than what we have currently.
Yep.
Across the street. Like, and how bad is that? Yeah. Like
Yep.
sometimes with the backing out there and stuff, it gets kind of
Just
bad.
trying to avoid that going forward.
Right,
That's all I'm
exactly.
looking at, is trying to avoid something like that going forward.
I mean, obviously, you know your competition, right?
Mhm.
So that's what but there's significantly more parking at least close, right?
Yep.
You know, to the whole, you know, all the parking spots, like in front of the little
Sure.
grocery store and everything over there. Does everybody else feel comfortable about
Yeah.
the issues?
25 parking spaces is pretty good.
I'm just wondering about the traffic being a major intersection for the town of Charlton, right up the street from that. Is there gonna be trouble coming in and out of that
All the
building?
big issue is when all the kids come get out of Bay Path and you can't get up, you can't
Yeah.
get down that road,
I
you're
think
stuck.
that area is designed for this type of businesses too.
Oh,
So,
I
yeah,
agree.
so, I mean, that's-
No, but I'm
that's
just
kind of
saying,
what
the thing to
we're
think
looking
of is, you know, the people coming in and out, you know.
And it is a
thought-
business
It's a good
now,
question,
so-
but like if it was a movie theater, right, and I'm just making up, and everybody leaves at the same time, it's gonna,
Yeah,
I
the
think
people coming in.
there isn't a bunch of people that are gonna be leaving at once, and I mean, there'll be sort of like a rush time during meal time, but I don't think, I just, you know, throw everything out there, if we just, I mean.
There were some concerns that Kurt had. I don't know if we can
go
address
through it.
those in the plans
Do you
or
wanna go through?
without going the
the-
full site plan.
Yeah, so one of the ones he said was it's not listed in the village district, which I'm not sure about that one. It was listed in the village district. Just saying that the applicant should list the location of proposed signage, just to have that included on the plans, and consult with the Board of Health regarding cooking facilities, public water supply, sewage disposal. That's all gonna have to happen.
Have you guys already met with the Board of
No,
Health and
yeah,
stuff
no.
like that?
No, we wanted to, I talked to Commissioner Pierce several times. And basically, at first he thought that we were changing the outside of the building or whatnot, and I kept telling him, we're not changing anything outside, it stays the same, and whatnot. So once we get through this, I told him I'd give him a call, and the engineer, myself, and I will probably meet with them.
And I'll also note it was actually Kurt that pointed me in the direction of this waiver provision here. He did both that option, so he has no objections to that.
And I truly think it's more of like a fire issue with any of the tanks they have, more of a health, you know, Board of Health issue with all the food inspectors and everything. So I don't think we need to put you through the fun of a site plan review, or the
And there was already a
and the
site plan
cost.
done on this property anyways, and nothing's really changing on the part of the sponsor statement.
And then, I was just gonna say structurally, I don't know exactly if you can do it, but, you know, we can always let that come up later. You could give a conditional waiver of just saying, you know, all the conditions you want in there that still requires approval from fire, Board of Health,
Oh, yeah.
any other bodies.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those things that's true whether or not you say it, but it's always good to say it.
Yeah, and then there's an engineer involved that'll be stamping the plans, and he's already looked at everything and done everything, and did the code review and everything else, so.
When was the last site plan done on this property?
It was too small.
2009.
There's two stamps. Oh, there's a stamp right there. I can't read that one. 2011.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
Oh,
2011.
Like
Okay.
2011.
Came before the planning board in 11. Okay, what do you need for a decision tonight,
We
anything?
have
or-
to, I would say we have to vote whether if we want to waive the site plan review with the conditions that, you know, all the other board approvals.
Correct. And it's worth noting, I know some folks here are for public comment. Just one thing I'll mention procedurally, for those not in the planning board know, site plan approvals are non-discretionary. It's a review, but they're permitted by right, and if you meet the criteria, the permits get issued. So just bear that in mind. I just procedurally like to let people know that.
I mean, if we force the site plan, we'd have to approve it anyways with whatever modifications we wanted just by
And would we require any modifications? I guess that's kind of the.
So what,
looks
what
like it
this,
fits.
what this does is it sort of takes away the cost of all the permits and having the engineer show up and present and all that to just make the, to not spend the money for something that we don't really need, right? Because there's no changes. Because it was already reviewed in 2011 with no changes. So the water's nothing changed in that's why.
Are both of these properties under the same ownership?
No, it's only one property.
Both of them?
There's one
Oh,
property.
this one right here?
Yes.
Yeah, no, this is,
That is a different,
yeah.
Nicholasville, there's a
So
different.
and there's a right of way for access. To
There is
that?
a shareable driveway, I think.
Okay.
The back?
On the side, yeah.
That, I mean that access to, it looks like access to the employee parking around back would be through the other property or through off of Old Worcester Road.
It's like it used to be a bank
Yeah.
parking lot.
Yeah.
That's how you get to the back
The
side.
back side of it. So I have to assume there is a right of way, a legal right of way to use that for.
I think that's how you get to the dumpster.
Yep.
So do we have any other public comments?
I have a question. Tamara Apkarian, 59 North Main Street. I have a question about proposed hours.
It's going to be 11 to 10.
What, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
11 to 10 or 10 to 10, something like that.
Okay.
I own Family Pizza. How is it going to be like City Pizza places at the same, it's going to be the same spot? So, like, most of it going to fit us.
It adds a little bit of competition. I agree. I don't think this board has any authority to limit what type of business it is or it all becomes competition.
Any other?
I don't know if you want. We reviewed the plans as well. We didn't have any issues with access to the site for fiber apparatus. We've been there a bunch of times before for the other use of the building. As far as EAS, you guys are fortunate. There's already an EAS box on the building, so
Save you $500.
yeah, $350. We'll just need to get keys updated for it, and then the only other concerns will be handled through the building permit process, such as kitchen hoods, fire alarm upgrades, and stuff like that.
Sure.
We'll end up dealing with that as that process goes through, but we didn't have any other issues with it. So.
When did the ownership of the property change?
February?
Okay, just this year,
Mhm.
26.
Just a quick question to the public comments worth noting. So until doesn't come up to speed, I don't know if our zoning bylaw does have anything about hours of operation that limits it. I don't know if that ends up being processed through the select board or anything that is put on as part of a waiver. If you go through the waiver route, if you might want to even just put in.
I've never looked. We've always asked about the hours of operation, but we've never
It's
really.
not in the bylaw.
But we've never really, and then it's on the record because in the minutes. But it would be, it's the building enforcement that would.
Are you assuming a liquor
So
license?
is there a restriction?
There may be
bylaws, but there would
that
be
may be
in
through
the
the liquor license. There may be if you have a liquor license or planning a liquor license, there may be a restriction for hours.
Is that your intent? Full liquor, beer, wine, liquor license?
So a special permit, you could limit that amount for by right business.
That's the selectmen, not us. No.
But do you guys know what time the other pizza places or the other restaurants that are across
Charlton rolls up their sidewalks at 10 o'clock, so. I said Charlton rolls up their sidewalks at 10 o'clock, nobody's allowed out.
Yeah, like,
Unless they're
So I just assumed that.
meetings.
unless they're at a planning board meeting, exactly.
But you were saying, so wine and beer liquor license, that you pursue that.
Something along
Talks
those
about
lines.
regulation,
Yeah.
regulated zoning,
Place to
site
see.
plan, special permit process, section 7.
Yeah,
So,
we've never-
I thought that was more for a special permit, but not
Yeah,
for.
right,
for
yeah,
site plan.
but nothing through regular business.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So I guess we need to, we just.
So one thing we could do is we could limit the hours from 10 to 10. Is that suitable for you?
For now, or if we get the liquor license.
Well, whether it's upholdable or not, I think.
Yeah, I think the concern here is, you're not, are we inadvertently permitting, what could be a 24/7 business, not saying that we plan on doing that, but that might be a.
Well, he said 11, or say 11 to 10?
10 to 10.
The 10 to 10, I think that's
10
fine.
a.m. to 10
The
p.m.
board just wants to know, and then
Yes.
I'll just submit something if you want to
Make
change
that part
those
of
hours.
make that part of the application, and if you need to change it, you have to come back in front of the board.
Sure.
To
I appreciate it.
modify.
So
That's
10
fine.
to 10.
10 to 10,
Mhm.
and you folks can modify that in a public meeting. You
Thank
wouldn't need to do a full
Yeah.
resubmit, but just something the board would have to sign off
Yeah.
on.
So, are they still need to file an application through the planning board, or there is no?
Everything's been filed. They did all of
Just
that. It's
waiving
just a
fees?
question if it's, if the waiver of the need for the full site plan with the conditions.
I'll make a motion to waive the requirement for a site plan for this property, 61 North Main Street, Charlton, for Great Grace LLC.
With conditions?
With the condition that their hours be allowed from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. No way.
Second.
On the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Any other public comments though? Sorry, I didn't know if I
Thank you. Thank you, Dylan. You've been a big help. Every time Curtis sees my phone number, he does want to answer his phone.
Don't worry, that's
Don't
anytime the
worry,
phone
that's-
rings.
that's everybody. That's
all
everybody.
numbers.
Don't
not just
consider
you.
yourself special.
Yeah.
I appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
I appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you.
What are you gonna call it? What's the name? Do you have a name yet?
Do you have a good name for me?
What's your restaurant?
Burrito Pizza.
Don't name
Pizza
it
Sauce
Charlton.
Burrito.
Don't name it Charlton Pizza, whatever you do.
No family, no house.
No,
none
I'm
of those.
gonna surprise you.
Yeah,
Regional
good.
House of Pizza and Seafood. I think that one.
What is it?
Regional House
No,
of Pizza.
it doesn't look like-
And make sure your last four numbers are 2666.
Phone number.
Yeah.
You got that on your speed dial? Or?
Look,
What is it? 2666?
2666. It's
I think it's the rest of them.
you got 066,
Very close.
1666.
Yeah.
Now we need
Family
266.
house.
You know what was the fun about it? I have 10 pizzas by mistake because he mean to order the other one.
Right.
Look, it's how you end up trying them all.
Or we
You
can
call
go-
the wrong number. Like, I
All
think
the times
that's
I'm gonna try to do the best.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Great.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We got one fan. We
Thank
got
you.
one fan left.
We're interested in the restaurant substation.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Who knew?
You need a substation.
Okay. Well, I have a very good surprise.
Oh, that's been continued. No,
So,
that hasn't.
There are a couple.
we still have the A&R. So
I'd love seeing
we
those
have,
continued.
so we have Freedom Enterprises, with the proposed gas station. They already continued to September 2nd, 2026. I don't think we have to vote on that because I think they already have it on this part of the agenda. Jesse and Jesse Properties LLC, They requested an extension to September 16th.
Okay, all right.
Do we need a motion to?
Make a motion to extend the Jesse and Jesse application to September 16th, 2026 meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have,
Do you want to hold on to this Jesse and Jesse stuff for next time?
Yeah, you can. Yep.
No sense in.
No sense in reprinting.
Then you've got
we have,
Howard.
did I miss them?
Yep. Yeah, they're requesting for the 16th.
We have, we have New England Power Company. They requested continuance to September 16th also.
Okay.
If I can have a motion.
I move that we postpone the site plan for New England Power Company to September 16th meeting.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And so we have Fabiola, the Caesar, Toponic and Hill. They requested a continuance to September 2nd, 2026.
I move that we postpone the Fabiola Cesar Esteban Conic and Hill definitive subdivision plan modification to the September 2nd meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then Brady, the Smith Road, I don't think I included anything in your packet here for this one. That was my mistake. It was just an email that I received. It was a special permit that it approved. It's going to expire in October. And he's just seeking an extension. He's building a single-family home, a lot on Smith Road.
Do you mean what date
It's
it
a
needs to be
different one,
extended, what it needs to be extended to?
I believe, you can send it to any date, but I would think it was October 22nd was the date of 2027, which I recommend that. That should be plenty of time. He's almost started construction, but he's, running up against that deadline, so.
So we just vote on that?
Yep.
I move that we approve the annual extension for the Smith Road reduced frontage lot owned by Brady.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we have another A&R, right?
That one up. And then there is just we suspect somebody when they came to grab an A&R might have grabbed too many A&Rs. So then we just need a re-signing of an A&R you've already approved. This is this one here.
And we've already got files for them.
Is this for powers? So we've got a power ones and a resign.
Yep. Powers and re-signs for it. Powers.
Did they file the other ones for the
They
other
may have
people and
filed
paid
it.
for it?
Oh, no.
I've done it for us for 20 years.
No
problem.
Right there too. Two different dates.
We did it lots.
We got this here for you folks. One here. Everything good on our end. I think the one thing was there wasn't like a statement of purpose on here. I don't think that's required, but as far as we can tell, everything with the division.
Is it not required?
It is, and I think they just show what are you trying to do here.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the summary of the thing.
So they did it, they just didn't label it.
Yeah, I think that's typically how we see it.
Yeah, I think
we're combining this lot and that lot, or splitting this and that. That's all it.
Yeah, that's why I felt like this was sufficient. As some of the building commissioner pointed out, I'm like, it seems like they get most of the way there.
Yeah. Oh, I see, but he's not actually saying a word.
Yeah, I mean,
It doesn't really show what he's,
Yeah.
what is he trying to do here?
Yeah, that's what's missing. I thought he named, but I'm reading this upside down.
so I think.
I can read it from there.
This or
It's pretty good.
Lot 1 and 2 being proposed division, dividing lot 1 and 2.
I mean, normally,
Yeah.
One, two, so it's
Okay.
That's
So
my,
are
I
they-
don't know what he's doing.
Okay. Okay, so this was all one big lot?
Yep.
And he's dividing it into two lots.
Do you want them to reprint one that actually spells out the statement of purpose? Everybody feels comfortable signing it like this?
It's up to you folks.
So we're cutting this piece out here. And this is, we're gonna cutting off lot 2 from this larger lot.
It's
Just
still
around
has
that.
frontage.
So on the application, he wrote to create a parcel for conveyance to an abutting lot. That's what the purpose was.
That may be selling this whole thing eventually to them. Yeah.
I'm a little lost. Probably because it's upside down. What did the note say?
Right, that's probably what he's doing.
He's
He's
gonna run for you. Okay.
Yeah, so he's given selling a piece to the neighbor, and so.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
All right.
And both lots will still meet minimum requirements.
yes, we use the most people actually saying statement, the statement of purpose, whatever on it, and so.
I see what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no basis for any objection?
No, I would, as an auditor, I'd say incorrect, send it back, but as a non-auditor, I'd say,
Good enough.
Good enough for, as a set of plans, a legal set of plans, right?
This is Powers. Big motion to accept the A&R for 48 Partridge Road, Powers, dividing it into 2 lots.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Please.
You sign over there. Come, you sign. And
This is a re-sign?
That's just a re-sign. Yep, that's one you guys did on July.
Do we have a date on it?
Do we have, what's the original date?
Yeah, July 15th.
Yeah, I would put the original, the
July 15th was the approval and.
Yep.
Yes.
One of the paperwork. Patsy, if you, one of the paperwork.
Oh.
They don't have the-
Just one?
So, we have the paper ones for the other one, right?
Yes.
Just
Yeah,
the
that's
just the Mylar. And then they're like, oh, wait, pretend that they probably just threw it away.
I write it in.
I usually turn the paper
I
upside
paid
down.
it to the tape.
So do we know who took it?
No. No.
They never brought it back.
They were
Yeah.
like, oh, we're just gonna throw it away. And
Yeah. Shredder.
Maybe one day we'll move all this stuff around
Just
and
sure.
arrange and we'll find
We'll
them.
let you know.
Who knows?
It'll be delivered, in secret back.
Slide it under the door.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be under the door when you come in. We'll find it. On Earth Day, we'll find it on the side of the road. Like.
All signed?
Yeah. Cool. We got that one.
And now we have admin stuff.
Decommissioning bond, that's also just asking that to be addressed at the 16th meeting. Nothing needs to be paid for that. No, you said as a planning director report, I'd like to just have a section here where I can give you guys updates, things planning department wise. One thing that we've been dealing with here that I would like to make a change on is how we do public notice. Currently, what we do is we'll send applicants down to the assessor's office. They have to get the whole list from the assessor. Then they make up the envelopes, then we charge them for the envelopes, and then we have Jane essentially stuff each envelope with the notice, and then it goes out with a, what's the little green slip called? I'm blanking on it.
Certified.
Certified. What you can do, and what it's very common in other towns, I'll sometimes get the postcards, is a postcard notice. It makes it that it cuts the time down significantly of Jane's time. It makes it significantly more simple for the applicant because it's not a problem for obviously larger applications, and you can certainly have that as an option for larger developers like Amazon. I would still recommend that they go the certified mail route. What it does from switching from a postcard from certified mail is, on an appeal, if somebody were to say, I was never notified, certified mail does give you, a little extra layer saying, hey, we sent the certified mail. Postcard, you still have a record of who you sent that to.
But they don't have a record of it was actually delivered to them.
Correct, because you will still get them back when it says, not deliverable. We still receive them. We still keep that part of the record. So, we.
So our right, and it's so I researched that myself when we were talking about this. So it's our bylaws say that we do it. So it's we do it as Charlton Planning Board, but the state-wise we don't have to do it. It's so I'm curious if we can. If we could waive it when we feel it's reasonable to waive it and keep. I don't want to not have it for like the Amazon projects. And how do you put in writing in a bylaw? Oh, a project this size or up. Can we just have the ability to waive it as a discretionary waive it as the board?
Make an audible for.
And do we have to change the bylaw just to be able to waive it? Because we have to change it anyways, so whatever we wanted to.
I mean, we could look at changing bylaws and
You have to look at the bylaw.
it's.
It says.
I know it's an expense for the applicant,
I have to send
but
it to
it's
the bylaw
also
review.
a little insurance for the town.
Yeah,
If it's done through.
I mean, I like, for example, when we do the lighting plan for recreation, it's just going to come out of the town's money and go back in, and we'll be able to, right? It's just.
Now, does the town send these out, or is the applicant required to send these out?
We send them out.
We send
But
them
the applicant pays for
Okay.
them.
It's
the town sends
$10.98
them out.
per
That's
certified.
true. So the
Okay.
town is then liable for if there's an issue about receipt, it's the town who gets, if somebody's saying I didn't receive notice, then we're the ones that have to answer.
Yeah. I
Kind
trust
of.
the town, I don't trust builders, so.
Yeah.
No.
We
Or
will.
developers.
Or developers, I don't trust
And then there's the
developers.
post office.
We will be sending them out. It's not really the cost so much that I'm worried about, because again, that's
the
on the
time, the
applicant.
effort.
It's the complexity of stuffing all the envelopes. It's just it takes a lot of Jane's time for something that can takes several hours when you have a lot of applicants, when it can be 15 minutes at most for regardless of how many, because now you're just stacking this many versus this many sheets of postcards. So it simplifies it.
What if you made it certified postcards?
Yeah, can't you have a certified postcard? I could swear I've
Or does
gotten
that
one.
not save any time?
Yeah, I think you're kind of right back to where you have to put each
You still have
postcard.
to fill out the
Label
certificate.
everyone by
Yes.
hand, right?
Exactly.
There's no
Okay.
automated way to do that.
Can't print it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the postcard just
You don't need
everything.
a decision on that tonight, though, right?
No,
We can
because it
just-
requires
something to think about.
a change of the bylaw. Then the approach I would recommend would be to make it an administrative determination, because it has to come to you guys and it's already been advertised and done. But that would be my recommendation. So one of the things to kind of start thinking about.
And it's on regular site plans and special permits?
Yep.
Both of them. That's a lot.
What is the warrant for the town meeting, the fall town meeting, already been closed? That happens.
Nope, still open.
Still open.
All right.
Just opened it.
It just
Last
opened.
night.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, please put a note and propose some language maybe for a bylaw change.
That's right.
You just
So
and
consider it.
is everybody wants the ability waive it, right? Then
Yeah.
it's a requirement with the ability to waive it or something like that, right? Or,
Right, with, we're going to a postcard, but can use certified mail upon determination by the planning board.
So, do you want to do determination by the planning board, or do determination by the planning office? That way,
Yeah,
it
by the
doesn't have to
office.
come
Yeah, we don't
from
have
from
to
the
vote.
planning
Yeah,
office, I
thank
think
you.
is
Ah.
that's it.
I will write up the language for that.
All right,
I'll have
good.
that.
Yeah, I would see what the language already says
Yeah.
too. I don't know what it says. I'm just happy. I mean, I don't know. Truly, if it has to, if an applicant's already talking to us, if we have to spend 5 minutes saying, all right, Joe Smith, he's a,
But it
building a house.
they could delay it a month from, when the postcards would go out for a special
Oh, I
town meeting.
see.
Because
Yeah.
now we'd have to have a meeting, then go back to them and say, okay, you don't have to do this, and then it'd be another 2 weeks before they can, come back again. I would think that if it was something minor enough, trust the office to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Administrative determination.
It's always nice to have.
And there's probably wording already
Right.
from towns that you can.
Right.
I'll write up the language and that will go on the agenda for a vote on the 2nd, so that way we'll then have time to get on the warrant article.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, I will go ahead and do
Anything else
that.
we need to put on the warrant article?
Yeah, right, what other language do we?
Is there anything else? We made some major changes last time, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see anything that
Did
needs to
anything
be
else?
updated
Okay,
right
that
now.
we need to push, the,
Maybe a high-density,
I don't almost wanna.
high-density housing zoning district or something like that is kind of red. Someplace where,
Family,
sure,
What?
where high-density housing is preferred to go rather than everywhere.
I can, if folks are interested, I know when I was in East Hampton, one of the provisions that we had in our bylaw was for multifamily development that I actually thought was quite good. It was very heavily utilized. Basically, my time there, that was if somebody was going for a special permit for development housing, it would be through this provision. It was very flexible. It would allow for people to develop those types of
In all zones, or in do you have a particular zone?
in
for it?
all zones, but it would be depending on what zone you were in would determine what the requirements are. So if you're in, the urban district, you only need 5,000 square feet per unit, where when you're in the rural district, you
I'm
still
just
need
telling
30,000.
you that's not gonna pass
Nope.
already. If we don't limit it to like say village district and certain areas, because everybody's gonna say, I definitely don't want a duplex on my street, in my neighborhood. They're gonna come and they will vote absolutely against it.
So,
if
yeah.
you want a chance of
You
it
don't think-
passing.
Yep.
I don't know, I'm sure you've seen it when you go to the town meeting,
What?
and everybody shows up for that one thing, because there's no way
Well, I
that's.
can understand that somebody that buys in a large lot residential neighborhood, they're gonna get,
Yeah, they're gonna have
large
all
lot
single
residential
family.
houses don't want high density housing in their neighborhood.
And you can completely limit what zones this is in.
We have very few zones in this
Yeah,
town.
yeah.
And
It's all
the
that.
A zone takes up
Everything.
90% of
Yeah.
the land, so we
That's-
would have to.
And that's where the complaints are gonna come from.
And if you
So,
say that it, like, even if you sort of make it like special permit and we can decide, they still won't trust us to decide, they'll come in. You have to be very, careful about changing things in this town, that people get very, very.
So I don't know, we maybe look at, some of the CB zones we have, or, and I'm thinking
Yeah, the
some of
CB might be,
some of these properties along Route 20,
Yeah.
would be suitable for that, type of,
Yeah,
street.
even for.
So this
housing
is our
development,
40
we
up
should-
here. This is CB, sorry, this is all CB, up through Trolley Crossing.
in RSC, don't we allow?
CB down here, we allow
multifamily
housing
like
in
that?
Yep,
CB,
CB
right?
allows for that.
CB allows
Or
for that.
CB rather.
Not
So
RSC.
maybe have some overlay districts like, high density housing overlay districts in some of these zones along here. Or,
Yeah, there's a lot of options. how
That's,
to
I
approach
mean,
it.
I think that's something that we're gonna have to, it's gonna take a little while, we'll probably have CMRC paid
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
credits to be able to actually have somebody come in and help us look
Use
at
some
that.
of those hours we've earned.
Yep. So I mean, we've got this R40 section behind the Dunkin' Donuts and that area back there.
Which makes sense.
Which
yeah.
makes sense.
But that's not something we'll be able to do for the next town meeting, but definitely maybe put that on our agenda.
Yeah, and just,
Look
yeah.
for funding, maybe it's something else. for
We need to
funding.
start kind
Yeah,
of pushing
we
that.
definitely do something like that. And just, yeah, the kind of that consideration of what, one of the advantages of something like this is so, not to, because you can bar it entirely from the agricultural district, but generally the way that this has been approached is that for every unit that you wanted to build in, for example, agricultural, you need 60,000 square feet. So if you have a 600,000 square foot lot, you can now build 6 units on it. It's the idea that you could have done that anyways, but
And then
rather than
your
spread it
neighbor,
out.
and then our competitors,
Yep.
you gotta make decisions,
Mm-hmm.
like, for the people who are voting for you, right? Like for the.
So you've got the only problem with that is you've got a small residential street and you've got a person that's got 30 acres of land and wants to put in 300 houses or whatever, 15 duplexes.
Yep, and
20, 30 duplexes.
And you definitely, I think folks are right. You know the town better than I do. It's,
I just don't think all you gotta say that there's gonna be more than a 6-family, more than, right, like, or anything in this town, and you're gonna get, people are gonna, all of a sudden, you have 100 people who show up, and all of a sudden you have, 600 people that show up to vote against something specifically, and then because they don't like you because you proposed it, they're gonna vote down everything else they want to.
Yep. Yeah, and again, this is something
We
I
have to
bring
look
up.
at where we put these things.
That
Where does the traffic go?
We
Where does it have the
and I'm not a person that's
The
like, I'm not saying, oh, we can't, we need for sure, maybe even housing with kids, because we don't have any kids in our school district anymore, but we need senior housing desperately. We have personally, I've known people that have had to move out of town because they're now living on their retirement and they just can't afford to, and there's not even a small house to buy, never mind, like, rent units to rent, right? So it's a huge issue, but it's that balance.
So how do we fund a affordable housing trust fund?
Raise everybody's taxes 2%. And,
Well, I mean, how about some of these large businesses that are coming in, make out, a TIF deal or whatever like that.
But
You've
do
got a
we
big
want
battery
that-
energy farm, and
That's what
they
we-
can fund partially, or
Right, but do we
Amazon
want-
wants to
will
go
we
to
make
flex
that-
delivery, they can fund partially.
have a
The
TIF
20
deal.
corridor
But-
study brought this.
But
same
you're right,
topic
we can
up.
make a TIF deal,
Yeah.
but are we giving that money toward the trust fund, or are we giving that money toward, like, the desperate schools that we're talking about $30
I
million.
don't think you're never gonna cure the school problem.
Well, but, I mean, right now they're asking for 10 million. It's 30 more million next year. It's more. Eventually the high school is going to be. It's going to be 100 million, and
It's all deferred maintenance that's coming.
And the state's not kicking in what it used to, so it's all falling back on the town again. So
that's the problem. Is do you put money in an account where when you're desperate to, and we have the senior center that are like.
I don't think you need a fund anyway. If you make it attractive enough zoning, then they will come and
I
build,
agree.
Denser housing units, and make some more affordable. I think we have to
And so I had they really were, like, where we could potentially put anything like that is really the place where we would have our businesses, where all of our revenue is. And so do you take a potential, do you say, no, Amazon, we don't want your $2 million a year. What we really want is a giant 400 apartment, it'll solve our low-income housing problem.
You're sacrificing
However,
commercial.
now everybody's taxes has to go up to fund what the schools need. Is that what we do? And what kind of decision is that as elected officials in the town, right? Because that's people didn't want to spend a few million for a fire station for 25 years. Right? Like, is that what we're gonna say? We're gonna take away this tax revenue because eventually, land is a limited resource list. So that's the problem.
How do you make it look better for developers? I mean, that's the biggest thing is you look at the developers and they're not making any money out of affordable housing.
Yeah.
They've got to get some other incentives from the state to.
Well, the town needs some. What's our incentive? What is it?
I think we're trying to reinvent a wheel here.
Right, we can't.
This has been examined in other communities.
It doesn't work.
Well, I was just going to say, I know with affordable housing, there are a lot of financial incentives to do affordable housing both at the state and the federal level. And a lot of times there's generally a matching from the town, which usually will come out of something like a CPA fund, which we don't have, but there are still other ways that it can be funded. I remember working on 40B years ago. The funding structure is something like where, businesses can buy these tax write-offs in the form of this affordable housing
Tax
grant.
credit?
Essentially, a tax credit for that. So it was always a reliable funding source because everybody wants these tax credits. So they sell them every year. That would go into housing. So
But that's less for us, right? That's less for the town, and it's all about the town.
Right.
The town.
I think a lot of towns are in the same ratio
They
that
are.
we have. None of them are at 10%. Not
And
even
until
close.
you get to over that threshold, you still there's a lot of grants you're still not eligible for. It's like so right. How much do you give up, and what's the long term benefit? And
I think we have some protection in our bylaws already. Romansky pointed out the third down cash deposit thing. I remember with Alan talking about that. That's a pretty big hurdle that slows things down quite a bit. So I don't think that's such an urgent, imminent threat.
Sounds like the sort of thing that somebody could bring to court and win.
it's that.
No water's a better one.
The lack of the water and sewer is, I think, the biggest protection.
Yeah,
but it's,
you're right.
If we were to solve the water and sewer and really get those up and running, I guarantee you would start seeing hostile 40Bs. We would be such a prime target for them.
A big enough development can do their own treatment.
Yeah.
Community sewer.
You have enough land in regen area and some of these systems that are coming up now, and
community well.
A solar farm to go along with it and to help power it.
Yeah, a little power plant.
Makes it
Little
float.
power plant,
Yeah.
All right. So, is there anything else that we have on any other business?
No, that's those are the big ones.
Do you? I guess just to finish this conversation off, do you want to put some language into the next town meeting for housing changes?
I don't think we have enough. I think this is something we need. I think we need potentially CMRPC hours for that, right? Like someone who can really, and we can't, and that's definitely we can't do that for the next meeting. There's no way.
Housing plan, master plan, and then that's the next thing we should probably tackle next year.
And so if everybody will just maybe everybody email their comments to Jane and Dylan, and so we can kind of get. I really want them to pursue to research or again consider or something because imagine saying we're going to raise your taxes 0.5% and put it in this fund. We're going to pursue that. Like we'll be laughed out of that.
Can you throw that document on the SharePoint?
I think it's already
the housing point. I just emailed that to you folks. I can throw it on the SharePoint.
Okay. If it was on the spot of the SharePoint, we could all add comments or something like that to it.
And I'm internally working out my filing system here. Once I feel confidence almost good there, I'm then going to just essentially copy it over to the SharePoint, and you'll kind of see that in the
And there's some things that could probably at this point be removed from that SharePoint. That's kind of old. BGG, I think, is still on there.
I think I might make a historic folder.
There you go.
Throw things in there, and then
definitely need clean it up. I liked your idea about putting it by application and street, not by meeting date, like we had, and that just messes up.
That's true.
And it'll make it easier to refer
That's
it
fine.
later. You can,
Yeah.
you just need to know what year
Search it, yeah.
it was, and then it'll go on like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I'll do like that.
Let's get that, and then, yeah, I as we keep going, I will kind of try to give you folks some ideas of different towns, different bylaws, stuff like that, that may be worth considering. Just, workshop it to make it good for Charlton, where I'm at right now. I'm still in Vermont and in Milford, so I'm working in Charlton, so hopefully I will be at least in Milford at the start of next month, if not in Charlton. Still looking for a place once I'm actually out in this area.
We have no affordable housing in this town.
Even if it's affordable, it's not affordable, so it isn't even like.
One of my goals is going to be to try to start meeting on Fridays with some of the surrounding towns, planning directors, town administrators, getting a sense of how they're operating, what maybe they're doing that we could adopt over here that might. Exactly. So
It seems like all of us have the same issues with like less and less money from the state and trying to figure out how to, not to put your fees too high, but enough to like the.
Okay. Anybody else?
Make a motion to close.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.